your co-hosts, Reverend, he's Reverend this week, Reverend Spirit Walks Far, and Reverend Dr. L. Newman, that would be me. Tonight, we're going to talk about Venus, Mars, and Slim Fast bars. As I mentioned on Facebook, it's the chemistry of chemistry. Right now, Venus is in early degrees of Cancer. Mars is in late degrees of Cancer. And it's giving all of us this kind of passive-aggressive, wishy-washy, for God's sake, make your mind up. Oh, I don't know what I want, but I don't want that energy. Obviously, in relationships, it's really kind of difficult because you find it's hard to commit to anything or anybody. Because when you want to do something, you probably don't have the energy. When you don't want to do something, it has to be done. You may well use yourself up. That's Venus Mars. Now, mind you, this has been going on for nearly a month, has another good 2.5 weeks to go. So in conjunction with all the other fun stuff that's happening in the heavens tonight, because as you know, we're astrologically based, it does put us in a cycle where stick to the stuff you have to do. Simplify it if you can. That's a very good retrograde Mercury thing. More Mountain Dew. Okay. Spirit rocket fuel. Mountain Dew. Now, at the same time, Venus, as she glides graciously through Cancer.
I'm fishing for a sponsor.
Yay, Red Bull is mine. Okay, you can have the rest of the world. Red Bull's mine.
Yeah, but you won't go live on camera.
No, not today. Not today. Someday, yes, today. Oh, there's Donna. Hi, baby. Yes, join us in chat. You want to tell these lovely people all the places they can find us? Because we're like all over the map now.
Oh, well, right now we're live to the Dr. Reverend L. Newman's Facebook page.
Yay.
Spirit Soaring's page. Spirit Soarings Take a Walk With Me. We're also streaming live to YouTube.
Yes.
Spirit Walks Far and Spirit Soarings Take a Walk With Me. And later, you'll be able to find us at Anchor FM. You'll also be able to find us on Spotify and a list of other podcast warehouses, I guess, or clearinghouses.
Sites. Just
Whatever.
on sites. It's easier, yeah.
And soon back on Podomatic with all of our recent and current posts, just having to straighten something out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just expanding, and moving forward.
When everybody said it
The
couldn't
sound is
happen.
awesome.
Yes, indeed. I'm not even using the other mic I bought, which will probably never come out of the
Well,
box.
you moved into a quieter room.
No. Same room.
Oh, you
Same
didn't.
room.
You didn't move.
Same room, less traffic. Trust me, it'll hit the fan. And the screamers aren't out right now. You know, we have 9 small children that scream all the time. And this must be mama's nap time. That's all I can figure. I'm guessing. But guess as good as anything. So, pardon my Michigan sinus. Back to where I was. I had a thought. A small but meaningful thought. A meaty thought. Venus is now opposing Pluto. Pluto, as you know, is the cosmic roto-rooter. And he guards all the mysteries of life, including all that stuff you hide somewhere back behind your psyche gizzard next to your pancreas, all those things that need to be resolved, all those issues and situations and relationships that kind of left a bad taste in your mouth. Now, we know that during the retrograde Mercury cycle, that's when you're the most likely to reach out to people that you haven't talked to in quite some time. Now, I'm real big on forgiveness. It's the heart of everything I do. I've forgiven my exes. I hope they have good lives. I've forgiven the people that done me in because, you know, they took on the bad karma and I didn't have to because I didn't return negative for negative. But there are 2 that kind of stuck in my craw a little bit because once again, of course, they were supposedly close personal friends. One was actually in my lodge. We were initiated together. And she ordered something like, I'd have to guess, between $900 and $1,100 worth of reports. Now, bear in mind that every time I do a color-coded report, it takes me 8 to 10 hours. She ordered 8 of them, and I turned them out in a week. I did nothing else. Then she wanted a color-coded report and a private session for herself, which I also did. Now, most people will go right on my website, theastralbaglady.net, and pay me through PayPal. She did not. She's a buddy. I wasn't that worried about it. Hindsight, 2020. She didn't pay me a nickel. Not a nickel. She said, thanks, bye. Okay. Then she had the temerity to go on Facebook and post. She had made T-shirts for her friends because she was going on this really grand vacation. And so she had T-shirts made up with her face on them because that's the kind of gal she is, you know. Where'd you get this? Oh, this is a friend. And she also had a picture of herself with her feet up on the coffee table wearing a pair of Louboutins that cost $2,000. And I'm sitting here thinking, I just did a couple weeks of work in a week and I didn't get thank you. I got goodbye. Fine. Let it go. Let it go. Another one was my friend Dr. Jim, the one that took me to Atlanta, who then convinced me to go to Winter Star to meet nice people who turned out not to be nice. I won't even go further than that. It was a freak show. It was awful. I couldn't wait to be gone. So I let him go to the ethers as well. Fine. We're good. 2 days ago, Brooke wrote to me. That's the woman that took my money and never said thank you. And said, we really need to patch things up. Ain't nothing to patch your sugar. You know, it's like you can't glue a fine china teacup back together because the minute you put tea in it, it's done, right? So I wrote back to her and I said, you know, there's no need because I'm living in a beautiful place of peace. Have a good life. That should give her the clue not to write back to me. Dr. Jim, how's your family? They're fine. He's never asked about, I've known him 20 years, never asked once. How you doing? Fine, busy, have a good life. Click. So I'm done with him. You know, it came full circle. I realized even when it happened, I had every right to be irritated, but it wasn't worth it. And that's at Venus Mars. You know, if you find the Mars activating first and you really want to get furious or curious or upset or whatever, go to the Venus part and say, you know, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Because I mean, I have always had this mouth. And with this mouth, I could decimate a person with one short sentence. Don't want to do that. And I only do it when I must. And generally happens when I'm working in hospice and Mr. Doctor will walk in and call my patient the kidney failure in bed too. And that's when I'll inform him that kidney failure has a name. His name is Charles Myers. And if you wish to treat him like a person, that would be my preference. Short of that, get out. No problem. So yeah, it's getting to those things that, you know, those people and situations and behaviors used to get on your last good nerve where you were like, grr, set to go, only to realize that it's so not worth it. It's not worth the moment of it. He's taking calls. I love it. It's probably about his car warranty. Do you know? Or maybe it's IRS. Who's calling? Was it for me? Hello?
I don't know who it was. It wasn't long enough for me to get it.
It's your car warranty. They just want to make sure, you know, that if you take off today in the Benz, it has full coverage. What can I say?
I'm guessing that Roy said we're looking great.
I'm looking better than you.
And and Heather said, hey.
Heather's supposed to be working. Is she slacking today? Hooray.
I don't know.
Hooray.
Maria said hello all.
Hello, honey. Welcome. And don't.
They started crunching trees again. So we have viewers on my Facebook page and your Facebook page. So I'm having to split between 2 chat rooms here.
Well, keep pounding that Mountain Dew and you'll stay ahead of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yes, the bottom feeders are coming up from under their rocks, out of their crevices right now, and we all get the chance to react differently. You know, it's how you respond to life that determines how life responds to you. And while like I said, I could be completely justified in schmeicing those people verbally, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. My better choice is just to keep them out of my life. They're where they need to be. And you know what? They're perfect as they are. They're both users. And they're perfect as they are. I do not choose to be used anymore. So, bye-bye, Felicia. It's just that succinct. Good.
Heather says she's not working that energy job anymore.
Oh, good. Well, then she can hop on in one of these Tuesdays. Hint, hint, wink, nudge. Okay, so the issue here is to surrender in the moment so you realize you're serving something bigger than yourself. That's why the bug happened. So we could all come together and realize that humanity is one, that we are, as we are taught by the medicine wheel, we are one in the sacred hoop. And what you do to one person, you do to all people. So when you're kind and gentle and thoughtful to everyone, it multiplies exponentially. So what am I living in service of? Granted, to a minor extent, I'm living in service of Mercury because of course, last week we had well, it wasn't quite a shit show. What we had was good for the 15 minutes until my modem crashed. Now, mind you, that modem is the third modem I've got from AT&T. They have shipped 2 others. Now, all 3 modems had the same problem. They would stop. All of a sudden, I'd be looking at the screen. It would say, no internet. And I'd run back in, hit the button, reset it, turn it on, whatever. AT&T's no help. We'll send you another one. Oh, Lord, no, don't send me another one. So I went to the little fact checker thing, did the Google search, and they gave me like 117 different things to check on. And I did them all, and it was still acting up. And the final one, I should have done the last one first. It's one of those like, mashed potatoes after you boil them, not before. So they said there's a chance, possibly, that this modem tower, huge thing that eats up most of my workstation, was overheating. In other words, she's having a hot flash. So as we speak, I have a little fan blowing tufts of air in her direction. Thus far, it's working. Let's hope it keeps on working. These are the joys of live radio. After 25 years, nothing really surprises me anymore. Nothing. But we're so happy to be here, especially having been so limited, so underserviced in the last place. It's so nice to be here where we can talk like grown-ups. I'm sorry.
We can take that all the way back to CBS Paranormal. I mean, they loved you. They really did. And showed how much they loved you by dismissing you at every turn. Yet there are still executives in the industry that come to you for your sage advice.
Voiceovers every once in a while.
Yeah. So if and I had the same problem. Okay. You know me. We took our brand of spirituality, which is don't believe what I believe. Find your own belief. And find the intestinal fortitude to stick with that belief. No matter how I argue that belief with you, if you can stick to that belief, it's a valid belief for you.
Yeah. Exactly. No one can tell you how to find your path to God, himself, herself, itself. That's yours. As long as you're living a godly life, that's all anyone can expect of you. That's it. It begins and ends there.
Well, and people say, what's a godly life? Well, be reverent, be kind, find courtesy,
be thoughtful.
Attitude. And first and foremost, try to find some form of Zen.
Exactly.
Some form of internal balance where you can go through the day without every little thing upsetting your tea cart.
Let's see if I can remember.
I talk a good game, right?
In physics, it's called a quiff. A quiff is the energy that breaks the energy level in which you've crystallized yourself. For instance, this afternoon, Lisa was on ZipRecruiter and this and that and the other and fielding phone calls and looking for a job because I won't let her settle. I just won't let her. It's like, no amount of money's worth an hour of your life. Do what you love. So, I enough already. She had one guy call her, didn't even have a job posting. He was just looking to kind of fill up his files, So she said, I'm going to take a medicine walk. I said, good idea. So she took off for like an hour, which is fine.
I know 5 books that are waiting for a ghostwriter.
There you go. So she took a walk. She came back and she had 3 solid interviews lined up for this coming week. One tomorrow morning, actually, which is fine. It's like give it to God. That's what we really have to do. The bug will end eventually. It'll come back eventually. Life is like that. Ideally, we're all treating each other a little bit better. We're appreciating the many unsung heroes. We're realizing that essential people really are essential. And that while we don't want to do every job, I was saying the other day, the last thing in the world I want to do, last, right above the burn center and job at the crematorium, to be a garbage man. I cannot imagine anything worse than the fumes, than the and coming home smelling like a garbage truck.
Oh,
No,
you,
can't
you
imagine.
deal with that the same way you deal with fumes in the morgue.
Yeah, Vicks.
You put Vicks under your nose until it
Yeah,
doesn't affect you anymore. The Vicks,
Vicks.
the smell.
We've used that at like murder scenes because
Yeah.
ew. But even so, it's just the idea of oh, what a job. God bless them. And I doubt they get paid a lot. Yeah. Heck, our police only make $30,000 a year, and for that they get to die. Hello.
I think they actually get paid more than police officers.
They probably do. Janitors do. I had a friend that was doing CAD for $40 an hour, and he got a job as a night janitor at a high school for 25. And he said, "No people, it's perfect." And he's Aquarius, so he's a night bird.
JC, bless her heart, went from skilled production to production assistant to she's doing expo at a little restaurant and making twice as much.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm. My daughter, my youngest, went to. She started out with an art history degree, went up to SVSU so she could study with Marshall Fredericks. He died. So she had a social minor. She came back down here, went to Wayne State, was accepted at the FBI and the DEA, took criminal justice, made it through, graduated in a class of 3,000 people, and discovered that even with her CJ degree and a minor in Soch, she could make more money managing a Sally Beauty store than she could in the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? That's a being smart.
Unless you go into criminal defense and go all the way through to be a doctor of jurisprudence, you're not
Ain't gonna happen.
You're not going to make any money unless somebody picks you up as a partner.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So it's kind of free float. Once again, do what do what your heart tells you to do. Do what you really love, and you'll be a success, and the money will follow. It just does.
I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday or Sunday about education.
Mm-hmm.
What they thought of education, and this was a 17-year-old young man.
Mm.
And while he was pursuing college, he was pursuing an architectural craft also. He was been doing welding for a minute and was going to carry the welding all the way to his junior college. I said, really and truthfully, today, picking up that craft, that trade that you enjoy doing something, and he had dreams for welding.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't just talking about going and getting a lug job as a welder. He had dreams as a welder.
Beautiful.
So I'm like, yeah, man, go with that, flow with that. Because if you give away that dream, if you trade it in for something else that you kind of had to settle for, because, well, it all depends on no, it really doesn't depend on anything. Give away your dream, you've given up.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to carry them forward.
And you tend to die a little bit inside every day. I have crazy Native American relatives who dance on high steel. Now, I cannot imagine. I mean, we're only born with two fears. One is loud noises.
After monkey.
There you go. One is loud noises, and the other one is falling. So I cannot imagine you're standing on this beam, and there's like 20 stories of other beams underneath you, and that's about it. I cannot, they wouldn't do anything else. We love it. It's wonderful. Okay. Good for you.
So Heather says she's working on her dream job, her own order, other things in the pipeline, starting divination parties and setting up reader fairs.
Excellent. Well, she needs lectures. Give us a shout. We'll be there.
Well, if
Bell's on.
Fairs, just let us know because we're getting ready to travel the circuit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You might could. You might could. Now, lately, pardon my Michigan sinus, please. Lately, I don't know about you. We have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have Prime, we have Paramount Plus. You name it, we got it. Everything but Disney and the Porn Network, because hey, Pornhub is free. Oh, and sports. Um, Nothing to watch. Either I've seen everything I want to watch, or I spent a whole day watching trailers to films I don't want to see. In fact, if you go to my watch history, you'll see where I've watched like 2 minutes of a film. Don't even. If I've seen the first 2 minutes, then it turned me off. Trust me, not worth watching. So I thought, I happen to have this cabinet full of DVDs because when I really like something, I have to own it. It's a adventure of mine. And there's a series called Justified. You would love it. It's all about the Dixie Mafia. Oh, yeah. And it's up in the hollers, like in the hollers, where they make moonshine called apple pie. Tastes like apple pie. Yum. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking bread pudding. So I'm watching it and remembering the author. The author's name was Elmore Dutch Leonard. He wrote so many, what was that one? I can't think of it right now. But he wrote so many great films and books. Now, this particular series stars Timothy Oliphant, who is a genius. And the chemistry between the actors is real. See, I have this thing I do that I don't want to see actors acting. I want to see them relating to each other. If I see an actor acting, never mind. I'll watch reality TV. It sucks just as much.
I
So,
like Keanu for that. He's so not acting when he does something. He's just doing it.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
So I've been watching Justified and thinking about Elmore Leonard. Now, the thing about Elmore Leonard, while he's a world-renowned Get Shorty, that's one of the films he wrote, Get Shorty with John Travolta. But he's a world-renowned author. He lived in Birmingham, like walking distance from my office I had in Birmingham. And we both taught at the Birmingham Community House. And we would sit in the teacher's lounge and drink coffee and talk. And he would show me notes on something he was working on. I'd show him my dumb little articles. And we visit. He was really an approachable, beautiful man. Now, the thing about this program, it ran 6 seasons, average 20 episodes per season. And it was based on one short story called Fire in the Hole about 2 young men who started out in the mines together, because that's what you do if you live in the hollers, and expanded on that. And one went crazy pants, bad guy, neo-Nazi. No, now I'm going to be a minister, but I still like blowing stuff up. And the other one became a U.S. Marshal. And the chemistry between Timothy Oliphant and the other character are just so brilliant. It's worth watching time and time again. So that's where I've been this week, aside from up to here in charts, which no complaints. Loves it.
Mixture Whispers says they're trying to find Zen now.
That was then and this is now. For me, it's drumming. It's always drumming or nature or my kids. So I haven't seen my kids in a year and a half. So that'll keep. Drumming never lets you down, ever, ever, ever. And nature, hello.
Castellano has joined us, and Heather says she needs a drum circle again.
Yeah, she does. That's one of the things I miss the most. I do drum every day. I'm fortunate that because we're on a corner lot and there's no neighbor right close, and my drum room's on the front of the house. Well, one of the fronts of the house, because we have 2 front doors to the back door. Don't ask. I can drum anytime I want to. It doesn't bother anybody. Although I took my Zen drum, the one that sounds like fairy bells, and I dropped it off at Magic Mike's house last week because he's been going through a rough patch. He's one of those, if ever a person should be wrapped in bubble wrap, it's Magic Mike. He falls off of stuff. Power lines land on him. His car took off without him one day. He fell on the coffee table and cracked a rib. He tripped on something in the kitchen, knocked out his 2 front teeth. I offered him mine. They didn't fit. So I thought, well, it couldn't hurt. First, I went to the dispensary and got him some happy dust. So he's happy. And then I took my Zen drum over there. And I sent one to Maisie, too. It's nice to be able to drum on non-invasive, gentle rhythms. It's a good thing.
Heather says she loves StreamYard.
Yes, me too. Me loves it. Except for last week when it wouldn't let me in without a password. And I'm trying to explain to it that no, I piggyback. Nah, you can't get in. Fine. I can live with it.
I think I figured out what happened last week.
Aside from my tower crashing,
Yeah.
what?
You got so flustered trying to get back into the program, you opened the program instead of the link.
No, I
No?
couldn't even get. One, I wasn't flustered because I've done this 25 years, and two, it wouldn't let me in. I got to StreamYard and it said, "Give me a password."
and
And
the
I
day
said, "Well, pardon?"
and it was when your router went back up, it did something screwy. I don't know.
Well, it didn't go back up. It wouldn't go back up. And in the meantime, I got you writing to me in the message
Swampy.
thing, and I got Swampy calling me on the phone. And I'm like, guys,
We were
give me a minute.
You disappeared.
Did your power go out? No. Give me a minute. Oh, it just I don't think it comes with age. I don't know. Maybe it's a me thing. Acceptance is such a wonderful thing. If something's meant to be, it's going to be. If something isn't meant to be, don't push the river. You'll just get wet. And the fish will resent you. So shake it off. I shook it off. And today I asked my cards, which is I never do readings for myself. And I said, tell me if we're going to get on the air tonight. And my card said, eh? What's eh? Eh? Okay. Eh? I'm here.
Okay.
Eh?
So we've been helping Kyrie learn tarot. So because she's such a sacred child, we gave her the in between tarot.
Mm-hmm.
Day JC upped the ante. She's moved her into pressure cooker readings.
Hmm.
That's all of the readings you can do in an hour. Okay, with cleaning and grounding your deck between each reading, doing a little write up interpretation for each reading.
Mm.
All that you can do in an hour.
Mm.
For 3 days a week.
Okay.
It helps people build confidence in their deck. It helps people learn their deck. And it helps people learn patience.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the deck just isn't going to be nice.
True.
It's just not going to tell you what you want to hear, especially if you're giving yourself a time limit. And it's a lesson that everybody that reads cards needs to learn.
Time's an illusion. First thing to do is find a deck with which you are truly comfortable, where the faces look at you and the voices speak to you. And forget that little, some of them, like the Weight Rider decks, will have a definition on the bottom. Ignore that. Know that every card is colored and amplified and changed by the one before and after it, and on and on and on. I normally do a Strega spread, which is 21 cards. And there are times when I'll just read one card. I'll read the card, and it'll take an hour to read that one card, and it gives them all the information they need. I do leave 10 minutes at the end saying, do you have any questions? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. My favorite thing to do, I like to call one quick question, which is, I'll answer your question before you ask it. So I got my spread here. I'll give you the answer. And then when I get done, you give me the question. How cool is that? That's a lot of fun. Candle readings are fun, too. You take a 3 by 5 card and write past, present, future hopes and pass it across the top of the candle. Not enough to set it on flame, but enough to, smudge. And then you read the symbols. And I've seen teddy bears and smiley faces and clouds. Although this morning, as I was making my morning cup of espresso, I said, Lisa came in. She heard the machine because, she makes lovely noises. I was frothing. I was in the frothing phase. And she walked in. I said, you know what I want to do? I want to learn how to make designs on top of my espresso, And she said, oh, like hearts and smiley faces. And I said, no, more like Bleep Monday. She said, there you have the difference between the two of us.
Bleep Monday.
Bleep Monday. I could say the other word.
Not that
bad. Not anymore because I work 7 days a week. So it's just another day. Just like holidays. It's just another day, boys and girls.
Find the other chat room. Here we go.
Where are we at now?
YouTube. Heather
something.
says, I work better intuitively with oracles. I did a show at Ohio State Reformatory Parapsychon, and I was doing
Oh,
nonstop.
sure, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Parapsychon. Okay. I am going to be doing my first in-house divination party next month, and will be working with my decks quite frequently.
Mm. For the novice, and to an extent, we're all novices. First, you find the deck to which you can really relate, something that's comfortable. I teach with the Aquarian deck because it's pastel. And so even the cards that you might consider kind of scary are pink and soft. So you understand that even when there's stress cycles, good comes after it. You know, the the stuff has to hit the fan to find out what's really important in your life. Then take your deck, shuffle a couple times, cut the deck, lay one card on top, go out and have a life. Tonight, when you get home, look at that card and that will tell you what your day was about. There's no better way to learn your deck than living it. You can start with the majors, you can start with the minors. It really doesn't matter. I like mixing them up.
Drawn to dragon-related decks,
Okay.
oddly enough.
Mm.
And then, of course, I have the
Native American.
Native American decks.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I kind of keep the dragon decks, the family members.
Okay.
Because I don't agree with the interpretations that they've given.
No, they're limited. They're limited.
And people look funny when you give an entirely different interpretation than what they're expecting from.
No, they want to hear what they want to hear.
Yeah, they want to hear what they want to hear. And that's not what the deck says to me.
Let me take a moment of your time to share this. AIM is not an organization. AIM, as its name clearly implies, is a movement. Within that movement, organizations will come and go. No one person or special group of people runs AIM. Don't confuse it with any particular individual or individuals, however worthy, who march under its banner. AIM is the people. AIM will be here when everyone else living is gone. AIM will raise new leaders in every generation. Crazy Horse belonged to AIM. Sitting Bull belonged to AIM. They belong to us still, and we belong to them. There are no followers in AIM. We are all leaders. We are each an army of one, working for the survival of our fellow humankind and of our blessed Mother Earth. This isn't rhetoric. This is commitment. This is who we are. In the spirit of Crazy Horse, Leonard Peltier. Leonard Peltier is a magical man. I love him more than words could possibly express. He is in prison right now for being a native. That's why, because he's a native, and he was part of AIM. And and the white folks thought he was evil. What can I say? You can write to him at number 89637-132, USP Coleman, P.O. Box 1033, Coleman, Florida, 33521. Please.
When it all boils down to it, they were fighting the takeover of more sacred land.
Exactly.
And the ridicule and subjugation of people that were living on those sacred lands. Leonard and a few others stood up.
Yep.
And then got accused for doing things that the FBI themselves, under that despicable man, killed anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. So do contact him. Check out his books, his artwork, and you will know what it's like to be in touch with a true wisdom keeper. Speaking of wisdom, I had to do a happy dance and have another piece of my triple chocolate fudge cake because Pipeline 3 is dead. Dead, 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 dead. Poke it with a fork, that darn thing's done. Happy dance.
Have to kill on 5
Mm-hmm.
and the DAPL line.
Yep.
The Dakota access line.
What we need to do is find some way to expose energy transfer partners. They're the ones that did the DAPL, that dug up the elders when they said
they're also responsible for this side of the border's line 5.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. The pipelines that they build fail at least a minimum once a week. Once a damn week. They're killing people. and getting away with it, and probably getting subsidies. Betcha.
Miss Powers said, "Are you doing readings tonight, by the way?"
Absolutely.
Journal every day with my decks during my meditation.
I got my cards right here. Shall I go for it, or you want to ask a question?
Yeah, you want to ask a question first?
Choices. Don't have to.
You just want an intuitive answer.
I'll be shuffling.
You can get in trouble there.
Shuffle, shuffle. You only get in trouble when I pull out the Crowley deck. It's got two devils. Shuffle, shuffle. Shuffle.
I have the Earth Shaman Oracle for that.
Do you?
Yeah.
I got the Crowley deck because I saw it at a party one night and it bothered me. And I thought, these are just pasteboards. It's just cards. Don't be silly.
I'm
He was
used
crazy.
to having some representation of Shaman breath in them. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't prepared for 9 different representations.
Surprise.
Oh, poo-poo.
Okay.
You know, I got to go through that again.
Do we have a question yet, or am I just going for it?
She said go for it.
Okay. All right.
Go for it.
Flipping. Always turn your cards like the pages on a book, okay? Because if you flip them, unless you have the mother piece deck, which is round, you reverse them, okay? So turn them like the pages on a book. This is a person with lots of half-done projects, okay? Like I got 3/4 of the garage painted, and I look at the other half or the other side and go, ugh. They will get done, but remember, this is the Venus-Mars cycle where energy comes and fits and starts. And you may have enough energy to drag the paint out to the garage, but to actually fill the paint gun and paint, just too much. So little bitty projects are wonderful. Also, your intuition is on overdrive. Right now, we have Venus-Mars in Cancer. We have Jupiter, Neptune in Pisces. This is the first, well, it's the last time in your lifetime you're going to see it. First time in 110 years. And that explains why so many people are drawn to trusting their intuition. Your psychic gizzard never, ever lies. Never, 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 never. Now, I find a need for balance. I get a sense of, I went out last week shopping and I couldn't find a darn thing I wanted because I had money, you know. Then I came home, paid the bills, and thought of all the things I wanted. It was like, oh, that's kind of backwards. And I hate shopping. Hate it. Hate, I say seldom. Because if I walk in a department store, I end up picking up all the clothes off the floor and putting them back on the hangers. You know?
She missed it. Her screen froze.
Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Podcast.
Go listen to the podcast.
And the last one, the fifth card, which is the ultimate outcome, is don't push anything. And if anybody gets pushy with you, let them go. It's like when Lisa got that call from the headhunters today, who didn't even have a job for her. I mean, don't call me if you don't have a job. Didn't have a job for her. Just wanted to fill up his portfolio. And she said, good talk. See ya. Bye. You know, why are you calling me if you don't have a listing or the possibility of a listing? So it's all about being delicate and gentle with yourself, getting ready for your wonderful new experience. That's going to be fun. And like I said, when you're ready for, you know, the circuit riding preachers to show up in town, just let us know. We'll make it happen. I'm roadworthy. You're roadworthy. It's all good.
Yeah, I can get there.
Yep.
I tend to surprise people.
Yeah, I do the same. Do the same. Like
we were talking about one of our most recent road trips, and Sings laughed and looked at everybody and said, "Shit, we sat in front of Elle's house from 4 o'clock till 6:30 when she woke up for coffee."
You know, you could have come in and made coffee. That would have been the kind thing.
I didn't know the door was open.
Because I would have gotten up at 4. It
Right.
generally is. Because I spend my nights letting the cat in and out. The bum cat. Okay, now I want to eat. Now I want to go outside. Now I want to eat some more. Now I want to go outside. And I can't ignore him because he's loud. He's only loud when he wants something. Yeah. Yeah. It's all about the cats. All about, if I disappear, it's because the cats are into something. I can tell you that for sure. Because they're quiet right now. And that it's like when the toddler gets quiet, something's happening. She's flushing the vacuum cleaner down the toilet bowl. Heads up. Heads up. So, and I should mention, because, brain farts, but I'm accustomed to them, that eventually we will organize it to where you can call in, you could be on the screen, and you can even listen to the podcast of my weekly astrological forecast. We are building upon that. I figure right now, I'm not pushing anything till the other side of retrograde Mercury. Now, we have 8 more days. We have 5 days until he goes and changes gears. But that's the 15th. No, it's the 8 days. Okay, 5 days from now. The 3 days after the retrograde Mercury cycle is where you actually take action. That's where you realize all the things that got muddled up and flummoxed up and didn't want to work or weren't documented correctly. That's where you will be the busiest. So that gives us a week and a day. That's not too long to practice patience lessons, even if you have to fake it. So allow yourself to get out of the shadow of retrograde Mercury. I know that's when Lisa's going to find the job she wants. I mean, she's had so many opportunities. It's amazing how many people don't want to work nowadays. It's kind of scary. I think with the bug, so many people got used to sitting home and collecting stimulus check and turning in their Mountain Dew empties that, it just wasn't an issue. And so now there's so many jobs to be had. You can pick and choose. It's like buying a car or a house. It's a buyer's market.
I've been teaching people to stand on their head for a year.
There you go.
Have I been doing something wrong?
Nope. That's basic initiation. When I went through the Kabbalah, you could only do one sphere in a year and a day. And then you got to come back and ask an intelligent question. Now, here's the fun part. If your question was just too stupid, you got to wait 2 years and 2 days to ask your question. So it's a story of a man who was going through initiation with the Zen master. And he joined the ashram. He'd been a corporate executive and he needed to find his spiritual roots. And so he went to the ashram and he expected to get some kind of really fancy job, like, I don't know, bookkeeping or something. And instead, they sent him to sweep floors. And so he spent a year and a day sweeping the floors. And he went to the master on his year and a day. And the master said, "Do you have a question for me?" And he said, "Yes, master. Where does all the dust come from?" And the answer was, "Look, there's more." That's how the answers come sometimes. Look, there's more. Where do you think it comes from? Reverend Ed said, if you're sitting on a sunny day and the white curtains are floating in the wind and you see these little microscopic bits of dust flowing through the screen, think kindly about them because them's your kinfolk. Where does all the dust come from? Maybe ashes to ashes.
I had to facepalm that one.
Yeah, well, that's good. If I can only make you turn red once a day, that's fine enough by me.
I had some instances similar to that along the way.
Such as?
My Kabbalah teacher asked me why I was taking Kabbalah training like 15 times over a 5-year period.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing this? Because my grandpa said I needed to. Okay. Why are you doing this?
Don't question. Your oldest has to do something, you do it. The 2 best books, in my estimation, are The Mystical Kabbalah by Dion Fortune. She's the woman who took on the Golden Dawn Society and humbled them. And there's another one whose title I can't think of because it gave it away, but it's a pagan book of the Kabbalah. And so it shows the spheres and the whatnot. And then it gives you cute little mystical animals for each level, which is kind of nice. You get unicorns, pooping rainbows, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it could be your unicorn poop year.
JC got a new book today.
What'd you get?
It's a book that gives the correlation between animal medicine and gemstone medicine.
Sweet.
Yeah. They found it a year and a half ago at a local library, and they've been looking for it ever since. And it just happened to turn up on Amazon. So
I can highly recommend, if you, like me, understand that the Stairway to Heaven is built on books. There's a wonderful website that Heather knows all too well. It's called Abe, ABE, like Abe Lincoln, Abe Books. And they have books that other places are $75, $90, $100. You can get them for like 10.
The problem with a lot of the books that we do research in,
Mm-hmm.
finding out of print books is hard.
Yeah. That's why you need something like Abe, which is quite good. And they'll sell gently used. I don't care if it doesn't have the book cover on it. I want what's inside the book. Don't highlight it. Don't bend down the pages. I'll
It
hurt
took me
you.
20 years to find a copy of Magic Esoterica,
There you go. There you go.
but I got it.
But don't put highlight in the book. Don't fold down the corners of the pages. I will find you. I will hunt you down. I will beat you with the book is what I will do. I will say, well, it's useless now. Bam, bam, bam. And this I know, because I used to be beaten with a Funk and Wagnalls dictionary, the big one.
Yeah.
That'll leave a mark, let me tell you. We played a game called How Stupid Am I? Every Saturday. While we listen.
I learned how to take notes in parochial school.
Parochial school. I learned that I was going to be a faded Catholic. I learned that Dominican nuns have mustaches and are mean, and they have clickers. They have clickers and rulers, and the clicker meant the ruler was coming, and by the time they clicked, one would wet their pants. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were vicious. They were vicious.
I don't write right. I don't write left-handed because of parochial school.
Mm-hmm. Which is wrong because 38% of us are left-handed people, and everyone has.
I'm pretty sure I was because I'm pretty ambidextrous.
Yeah, and had we not been mucked with, we would all be ambidextrous. So There you go. We have to do another palmistry show some night. That'd be fun.
You can see my hand. Ah.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, come back. Okay, so over, sit. Nice headline, nice heart line. Incredible Saturn line. Goes right up to your Saturn finger. No slack in here, boys and girls. Lovely. The color could be better. Notice how it's blotchy. Take a look. Take a look at your palm. It's blotchy.
I think most of that blotchy is from the camera.
Not the Mountain Dew.
It could be the Mountain Dew.
Well,
look, I don't get Mountain Dew for the next 2 days. I'm gonna be on the land cutting trees.
I can't wait till you stop smoking. Part of me said I should stop to keep him company.
I probably won't smoke on the mountain either. It's 9,700 feet. Oxygen's thin enough up there.
You know, I have no problem with that. Been in the Smokies, been in the Rockies, climbed. If you go to Mount Moriah Cemetery in Deadwood, which is the old Boot Hill, that's about 10,000 foot elevation. Not a problem. Not a problem. I don't know why. I guess some of us belong where the air is thin. What can I say? It is what it is. So we have some real exciting transits. We've got retrograde Saturn forever. We've got retrograde Pluto. That's the one that takes us on this journey of self-discovery. Retrograde Mercury. Enough already. I figure he had his way with me last week. I will not bow down to him. How's that for challenging the fates? It's quite all right. Considering how far we've come, how far you and Swampy brought us in 6 days. And you did more in 6 days than that other guy did in 13 years. Now, what does that say about caring? What does that say about being a professional? What does that say about making an effort? We had none of the above, which is sad because people are still settling for him. And it's, don't settle anywhere. Settles that stuff that falls at the bottom of the swamp. It's not pretty. So why settle? When you know that you deserve the best. As long as you're bringing your best to life, life will bring its best to you. No doubt about it. Oh, I had this.
They heard my plea for coffee.
A cup of coffee. Consider this. In the beginning time, there was only darkness, no light, just the hush of the universe waiting to be born. The Sun Father came first, torn from the flesh of infinity, hard and merciless. He created possibility, the first universal truth. He mated with Grandmother Moon when he had the time. Their children were Earth and all the other planets, even the Milky Way, which is the sky ladder to beyond. The Sun Father and Moon Mother brought harmony, the second universal truth. They became inseparable, bound by destiny, even though one was always chasing the other through the sky. That's a love story. After a time, there was the birth of animals. They were the same as people, no difference, except some had 2 legs, others had 4, some had wings and fins. The animals discovered imagination, the third universal truth. Their stories comforted and protected all who heard them, even the wind and the rain and the fire. The principal animals were the elk people and the bear people, the coyote people and the rabbit people, one for each of the 4 sacred directions. The raven people guarded the world above, and the badger people the world below. All those people came together and created warmth, the fourth universal truth. Their fire made illumination possible. After that, the people divided into clans and spread out. Their different worlds expanded, each with possibility, harmony, imagination, and truth. When they grew hungry, food was provided grass or insects or meat, whatever they needed to survive. Hunger became the fifth universal truth. Oceans were made, also mountains, rivers, and deserts. Trees were made, also stones and flowers, even dry dust. In this way, things began to be noticed. The people discovered beauty, the sixth universal truth. They made gifts of beauty to one another and created happiness, the seventh universal truth. The circle of life was almost complete. Then along came strangers and horses from the south. It was a time of gunpowder and destruction, of trying to protect themselves from fear, the eighth universal truth. Many people died. They lost their homes, their food, and their children. But they survived. When the people got together again, they discovered hope, and they decided that hope itself was the greatest truth of all. You and I are the midwives of hope, regardless of what's going on in your life.
Is that
Sir?
what we are?
Yeah, we are. We are the midwives of hope. The only reason people come to us for counsel and guidance is because they need to find that light of hope at the end of the rainbow. It's my business partner used to say, the light at the end of the tunnel is always another train. And that's what his life was like. He called it in. I believe in hope that in every dark day, yesterday was such a Monday. It was gray. I always get up before the sun, but the sun never came up. And then we had rain all day long, which is fine because I went out and weeded and killed trees and did what I had to. But there was a hope that even though today is tomorrow the grass is going to be greener. The flowers are going to be brighter. The earth is going to be watered. I don't have to drag the hose around the house. Life is good. We are the midwives of hope. And we owe that to ourselves as well as each other. Because when you live in a dark place, darkness will find you. Time and time again. Yes, I have my cards if anybody has a question. Got my cards right here in my paw. Got them.
Heather said, haha, I feel the same way. I'm sure I was a librarian in another life.
Oh, yeah.
Her dad had to learn how to write with his right, even though he's a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, absolutely, she's down for palmistry.
Yay. We'll give you enough time to know about it. So you can either, if we have the camera ready thing, you can hold your little paw up and I can read it for you. Or you can private message me copies of both hands. Both hands. No butts, thank you, but both hands. Yes. Because the right hand, that's your left. Left hand is you all alone in the bathroom.
Oh, left.
That's what I said. Right hand.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Right hand.
The right hand is what you're doing in the supposedly real world. So the more the lines on those hands are harmonious, the more they are the same, the more you are following the path you choose to follow. If they are disparate, you may have many more plans than you could possibly ever get to. That would be me. It's also determined by air, earth, fire, and water. Water babies have more lines than anybody else because they worry. They worry. They hit the lotto. They worry about paying the taxes. They worry. I've been counseling. Well, you remember Desiree Lipschitz. I've been with her since I think 10 days after the Civil War. And I can't get that woman not to worry. And in decades, of dealing with Desiree and her dysfunctional family, her question is always, when is my life gonna get better? It's so awful. Well, maybe you could amend your attitude. I'm just saying, count your blessings. Look for an attitude of gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. You're blessed. The woman is 80 and she hasn't learned not to worry. I doubt that's going to happen. And she always tells me, oh, you tell me exactly what my psychiatrist tells me. Well, then just stick with your psychiatrist.
Heather said she's an earth sign.
Yes, she is. That's the craftiness in her. Because Earth babies
We have
are.
Grandmother Dot watching us.
We have who?
Grandmother Dot.
Oh, sweet. Hello, honey. Hello, darling. It is
I
so
wouldn't
good.
have known it, but she just sent up a bunch of hearts.
Aw. It is so good to have this endless possibility for you and I, Answers with the Astral Baglady, and the opportunity to help people. That's what we're about. I mean, don't get me wrong. My brother makes some of the most beautiful, one-of-a-kind artifacts you're going to find anywhere. And Father's Day is coming.
She said hello.
Hello, honey. And I do some fair to Midland session work and reports, which you can read on my website. But basically, we're here to help people.
Between my group and yourself and
Yep.
the rest of our circle, we can probably tell you your life history, the past life history for at least the last 15 lives, and forward future moments for a good bit. Yeah, if you need to get a grip on yesterday, reach out. If you need to figure out how to deal with what's coming, reach out.
Yeah.
Some of us will help you.
It's all there. Somebody named Dorothea just said hello. Hello, Dorothea. Thank you for being here.
That's
What a
Grandma
beautiful
Dot.
name. Oh, that's such a beautiful name. That's like in the old South, Lady Lillian. Miss Lillian.
She's one of the grandmothers of the Bear Clan.
Oh, my family. Well, no wonder I adore her.
My familia.
Bear medicine. Don't you love it? Nothing subtle about it. Two of the biggest women I've ever seen in my life got out of a Crown Vic and the car raised because it was a lowrider when they were in it, and walked in to take care of two teenage boys who were caught shoplifting on the res. And the owner of the shop said, you can see we don't have a lot of trouble here.
Right.
Yeah. Should we call the police or call your parents? Okay, our parents will beat us. Call the police.
And well, on the reservation, police is still kind of a novel idea. Grandmothers, on the other hand, are something that everybody knows.
Oh, yeah.
And usually, even though we're in love, grandmothers, usually that love is tinged with just a little bit of fear because you never know how far is too far to push grandmother.
Yeah, it's one of those love me but respect me. Because if you don't respect me, you're not loving me. Yeah, exactly. And these women, they had the mom face. They got out of the car stood up. Okay. They got out of the car. They walked in. I felt guilty. I did nothing. I was buying coffee and getting gas. I felt, oh, I'm so sorry. What can I do? How can I make it right? And they just made a beeline for these kids who are sitting on chairs as if their butts were glued there. And because the man and I are having this nice conversation, he's making this nasty ass coffee. And they just took right over. And the next thing you know, they had him by the ear. By the ear. If that isn't a grandmother thing, I don't know what is. Had him by the ear, walked into the car, flung him in the back seat, didn't say watch your head, just flung him in the back seat and took off. Cloud of dust. It was like, well, happy time on the res.
Miss
And also like Tic Tacs,
Fast reading, please, and thank you.
What was that?
Miss Castellano said fast reading, please, and thank you.
Sure. Past life? Sure. She's a moon Saturn baby like Heather and I are moon Saturn babies. So we tend to recycle a lot. The first thing I get is Linda has a claim to fame by marriage. in that she was married into the Castellano family, which is the New York mafia. Don't you know?
Right.
In a past lifetime, the fame was hers. Um, she was a writer and a teacher and a healer. And every once in a while, when she crosses paths with people with whom she shared that healing, she gets a low backache, like between middle of your back and your tailbone. There's this low backache that says, I carried the load for you before, and I'll never do that again because I
Right.
got a backache and you stayed stupid. Um, I also get a sense of like either investments rolling over or a nice little pile of money within the next month. Nice little pile. I mean, you're
Nice.
not going to Aruba, but it's a nice little pile of money, which is a fun thing to get. So right now, she's deep in the heart of this energy zone, this Venus, Mars, and Slim Fast bars. I call it Venus, Mars, and Slim Fast bars because it has to do with attractiveness. Venus is what you draw into your life, and Mars is what you're attracted to. They're seldom the same. If they are, you're a lucky puppy. If they aren't, welcome to my world. So I get a sense of she's working on her diet in a wellness way. Her money's taking care of itself. Still helping her daughter because her daughter is her daughter is her mother is her daughter. Her mother was her daughter, and her daughter is her mother. And this past life thing. And I mean, when you cross paths with those people because there's it's like a soul recognition. And immediately you know whether to trust or not trust this person, to care for or not care for this person. And you got to trust that. You just got to believe it. You must believe. Oh my goodness, it's that time again.
Yes.
Only 25 years. I'm getting better at this. Over our 79-year history, the USO has been with our troops and their families through countless periods of uncertainty, change, and challenge. And that's never been more important than it is today in these unprecedented times. Our mission is to go where they go, to be where they are. Whatever our service members need to stay connected to family, home, and country. Imagine being half a world away from the home in a remote desert. You're carrying about 50 pounds of gear. It's 100 degrees. There's sand in your boots, your eyes, your hair. Your ears are ringing from gunfire and explosions. What's the first thing you want to do? You want to talk to your loved ones and tell them you're okay and how much you miss them. I can't tell you how many of our men and women in uniform serving us around the world tell me this. Yet making a phone call home from remote parts of the world can be extremely difficult and expensive. I know you agree that the brave members of the military who sacrifice everything to defend our safety and freedoms should be able to connect with the people they love. It's what keeps them going day after day. It's what keeps them strong. Now's the time to donate, support our troops, help our service members by keeping them connected to family, home, and country, and provide other much needed services to them. It's so simple. Go to uso.org and donate whatever you can. Thank you.
During
We're
the
on time.
Mr. Overholt said, love and hugs your brother Penn.
Oh, Pendragon, one of the finest artists on the face of the earth. And also his alter ego, Trish the Dish, is the redhead. The 6 something, like 6'9". Okay, 6'4", 6'5". I'm 5'3". What do I know? Tall, gorgeous, beautiful, talented. Love you, Pen. Got to have Pen on the show sometime. Oh, yeah.
Heather says she'll catch a past life reading from you next time since she already received a reading.
Yeah. Next time, my yes.
And Linda Castellano said maybe Fed taxes filed in March will finally come.
Oh, yeah. Lisa just got hers and she filed them in January.
Amen, Linda. We're waiting there as well.
I get a bill. Oh, wow. Okay, Heather, this goes back to Athenian,
4 or maybe 5 lives back.
Athenian days. We're talking back, BC kind of stuff.
You went way deep.
Heather, well, it's here. Heather was one of those priestesses who could lay hands on and reanimate animals that were sacrificed. That's why critters come to her so much now. She's got those healing hands. It's an earth thing. And so they cut the goat's throat. Goat bleeds out. Heather comes along. Come on, Buffy the Wonder Goat. Buffy the Wonder Goat goes with Heather. So she's one of those. She's the kind of person for whom they made the Rainbow Bridge. Then I get another life, Pioneer Days,
Yeah,
where
that was
she's
4 or 5
got
lives back.
yeah, where she's traveling. It's like prairie. Um, it's cold. It's winter. It's something like North Dakota in the middle of the winter. Brr. And she's got her husband died somewhere along the way from some fever thing, and the horse died, and so now she's down to herself and the kids, and she's got a baby swaddled on the front of her, and every once in a while she gets very warm and she gets very cold because the baby's wetting his diaper. Okay, and they are taken in. I can't tell what clan, probably bear. They're taken in by something like a bear clan, and she becomes their healer. So every lifetime that we touch on has some aspect of healing, hands-on healing, which is why in this lifetime it's just grown exponentially. Brilliant. Brilliant. Also explains why she's
I can
very
put an
picky about
answer
men.
to some of that, El.
Sorry, what?
I can put an answer to some of that, why they would have adopted her, taken her in, and then come to revere her as a healer. Um, in some of those, especially the Northern Plains tribes, those found lost in grief were found close in contact with creatrix.
Mm-hmm. Direct
And,
connection. Yes.
yeah. So they would recruit people that were lost in grief and teach them the medicine ways.
And you can't be more lost than North Dakota in the winter. Talk
True
about your
that.
whiteout territory. Yeah. It also
I've been
explains
to
why
Mine Out one time.
also explains why she's very selective about her choices in men, because she's had lifetimes of losing them. Love shouldn't hurt. I mean, okay, here's the thing. Ladies, we're probably going to outlive our men folk. We do. In fact, it's been proven in double blind studies that married men live longer than single women. Single women live longer than married men. But we get an average of 70 some years, and we exceed the men by about 3. So we need to learn to do well on our own, because chances are good, like 99.9%, we're going to end up alone.
Learn some survival skills.
And if you can't be alone and be complete, don't think about having a relationship. Don't even. When somebody says to me, he completes me, I think, what part was missing? Your ass? What didn't you have before you met this guy? Work with me.
That's not the word we use.
No.
Woman
Ass?
Sings and I. We're entirely symbiotic, but we complement each other.
Mm-hmm. Which is how it's supposed to be.
People are like, symbiotic. Wow. Big word. I do have
most people know symbiote from venom. That's as far as it goes.
right. And well, that and most people wouldn't understand life-bound relationships for if you sat down and explained it to them on a chalkboard.
Nor would they be ready for that kind of commitment.
It takes some doing.
It's a forever thing. I mean, like I told Sings one day, I've been blessed, bittersweet, but blessed, in that I have buried the love of my life 4 times now. Once I was 14. That was fun. However, I was blessed to find the love of my life 4 times now. Some people never do. And if you think it's, Cinderella, it's not going to happen. First, you have to love yourself. You have to love your life. You have to love what you're doing. And that particular essence will draw to you the kind of person you deserve. It's so simple. Isn't it amazing that all the mysteries of life are so damn simple?
Oh,
And then when you simplify and people go, oh, that can't be it. No, that is it.
Heather said, Bear is very close to me. My son was chosen by Bear of the Star People before he was born.
There you go.
Resonates. I had an encounter with my past life that you speak, and I was singing a Lakota lullaby during a drum circle.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love it. It's one of my favorites.
Sounds
Speaking of
about
music,
right.
speaking of music, let us not forget that our beloved brother Superman will soon, gosh darn soon, he better come out with his new CD medicine bundle. Watch for it. I'm hounding him daily. You can buy it a song at a time on YouTube or Amazon, but I can't see spending 99 cents a song when I'm going to buy multiple copies of his CD.
She said, and her baby was swaddled. Thank you for that.
Ah, all babies should be. That whole sense of being close to mama.
It,
Hear
it
the mother's heartbeat, hear the father's heartbeat, know
yeah.
that you're loved.
Well, I've held all of my grandbabies except for Harper while
Hmm.
they're swaddled, and they get so comfortable right here, and
Hmm.
it's I don't know. There's something about it.
They just melt into your arms. It's
You
wonderful.
melt into them something.
Yeah, yeah. There are no boundaries. That's the
Uh,
beauty of critters and kids. Critters and kids can give you unconditional love you didn't know existed.
mhm.
My granddaughter, who is now officially a moose, I talked to my
She
daughter
is.
on Facebook yesterday. The child is 9. She wears a woman's petite pants or a girl's 16. If you can find a girl's 16, good luck with that. And
Right.
she now wears a size 7.5 shoe. I wear a size 7.5 shoe. That's wrong. They're feeding her plant food, I think, because she's growing like a weed. But she's so sweet. I was at their home when they just sold it, and she ran and got me a poplar leaf. She wanted to give me something. Here in your chicken, here in your chicken. Okay, honey. So I took the poplar leaf and I brought it home and I sprayed it gold and I put it in a frame with her picture. And that was the most golden gift she could have given me because she couldn't wait to find me something.
Uh,
That's what kids are about, you know? Immediate gratification, kind of like radio. Here
mhm.
we are. Nice shrug. That shirt is good. It does good things for your eyes. I like that.
Oh, we've had house guests for the last 2 weeks, and
Have you?
yeah, it kind of crushes my sporadic facial movements when I have
Mm,
people sitting around. So today, nobody in the house except for a short visit. I've played, I've had fun, I've painted,
good.
uh, I've laughed, I've sung. We did Tuesday talks, the morning missive, and pre-taped Witchy Wednesday
Lovely.
because we're going to be on the mountain for 2 days.
Lovely. Oh, how fun. How
I get to
fun.
go cut trees on my property.
Oh, I've been cutting trees. I call them shit trees. They're those little maple spinny things that land everywhere.
Well, one of my apps is hand carved goods.
Yeah.
The land that we bought, some people would probably look at it and be like, "Oh my God, what in the world did you do?" And I look at it and I see pipes and I see walking staffs and I see wands and I see
Talking sticks.
talks and
Yep.
drumsticks because it's full of twisted cedar and pinyon pine and
Beautiful.
down in the bottom it's got some kind of hardwood I've yet to identify. I need to take the phone down there with the on the phone that says identify this tree
Mhm.
so I can figure out what it is. But I'm pretty sure it's a hardwood because of the way it reacted to me snapping a green branch accidentally.
I do better with the leaves than with the tree itself.
Well,
It's easier for me to
when
identify.
we were down there, it really didn't have any leaves on it.
Okay.
So this time I'm hoping that it'll be in full leaf and
Or some kind of leaf.
yeah. I mean, I don't mind aspens, but I'm hardwood.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm truly hoping for hardwood because hardwoods and me are like like this.
Sturdy. Sturdy dudes. I have a pine tree that needs a haircut for sure, which means don't tell Lisa. Don't even mention it. I get to use my sawzall. Power tools. You know, I'm dangerous with power tools.
Dangerous with power tools.
Well, my son-in-law took my chainsaw away because he drove up one day and he found me with my foot on a folding chair and the other one in the crotch of the tree cutting branches off. And he got out of his truck. He marched over to me. He said, "Oh, bleep no," put my chainsaw in the back of his truck and left. I never did find out what he came over for. And I thought, oh, I lost my chainsaw and I still got the grease for it. And damn. And so once upon a time, Lowe's had a sale. I think they're Cobalt. No, the Ryobi. I got a Ryobi set. Oh yeah, and it's got a drill, and it's got a sawzall, and it's got a circular saw, and it's got a flashlight, and it's got a second battery, and it's got a charger. And I am a dude. I am the dude. Out of my way, Jack. I can cut things down. Yes.
You know, on a bright note, JC gets to see her grandmother and her mom and her
Ah,
town for Father's Day, and
nice.
they, of course, you know, Kyrie's been here for 2 weeks, but
Mhm.
Dad and Grandma just got here last night.
Nice.
Got to meet Beans for the first time.
Oh, my beans, my magical, musical, marvelous beans.
And
She's
she's
mine, you know.
she's hardcore Dominican Catholic.
Oh, let's FaceTime. Start with Pope Joan. Start there. That's a good conversation starter. It's an icebreaker if ever there was one.
Well, I already had to go through the Catholic rant on
Mm.
Sunday for somebody that sings is taken on as a year and a day student.
Mm-mm-mm.
Where she took it in stride, and she looked up after it was all over, and she said, "Wow, you really do go after the Catholic Church with a vengeance." I said, "Well, it's based
It's
on
corrupt,
core lies. It's corrupt.
greedy,
Yeah,
not spiritual,
at all.
sexist, misogynistic. Shall I
Yeah.
go on?
Uh,
The only good film I ever saw was on the Turner Classic Movie thing, TCM, and it was called Shoes of the Fisherman with Anthony Quinn, who played the Pope. And he was a Pope that went to the red light district and gave women healings. And
Yeah.
at the end of it, he knew he was going to die. And so he took all the papal jewels and turned them in to the poor people. That's how it ought to be.
That's
You
how it
know,
ought to be.
it shouldn't be the guy down south who wouldn't give people a place to stay when everything flooded. No, Joel, you're wrong.
Uh, you know, the last three popes in a row have tried to right some of the wrongs
Hmm.
that awful thing in Rome has perpetrated around the world
Forever.
for 2,000 years, and people just aren't willing to accept new information about an old establishment.
True.
But you know that's slowly changing according to industry polls and surveys here and there all over the globe. The younger generations are finding it harder and harder to sink into that quagmire.
Well, and the realizations of the residential schools has got to be an eye opener, even for the dumbest people alive.
Right?
That
Now
it's going on today. It's still happening in Canada. Native
the
American
total
people are
now
losing
is
babies.
463,
Dear God.
and this is just recent grave sites they found, like in
Oof.
the last 2 weeks.
Oh,
The World Court with the UN's backing said, "Okay, you want ground searching radar? Here you go." I knew that things were getting ready to change, not only in Canada but around the world,
hmm
um, because there aren't just residential schools in Canada.
oh no.
There aren't just residential schools here in the U.S. There were residential schools in South America, all over South America. There were residential schools in Mexico. There were residential schools on most of the islands across the Atlantic and Pacific, because they had an established practice of taking your children away from you, putting them in school systems where they controlled the curriculum, where they controlled the dress code, where they controlled the language, and they stripped everything from you that didn't belong to their culture. Okay, which is sad because they
Genocide. It's genocide.
then behind your back to appease the people that didn't get squoze into that school system, they incorporated beliefs and ideology from those indigenous cultures into the practices that were served in those areas.
And all of the countries were under the indoctrination of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
The Holy See.
You can go to a
Holy
Catholic church in the Dominican Republic, and the service isn't the same, even though the language is, as when you go to a New York City.
Now, the only Catholic church I go to is St. Jude and Guadalupe. They share the pulpit, and it's on Rampart Street, north of the French Quarter. And St. Jude is good for me because he's hopeless causes. Guadalupe is just plain cool. And adjacent to it is a grotto, a real grotto. And adjacent to the grotto is a voodoo gift shop. And the lady in there selling, oh, you want your mom to come back? You do this red candle. You want to get a job? You do the green candle. You buy these charms. You'll be lucky. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. Truth in advertising. This I can get behind. Yes. So whenever I get back to New Orleans, I have to go to Mass.
I don't go to any Catholic churches anymore. I've been excommunicated for quite some time.
Well, I'm a visitor. All right. The only time I ever really purposely went against the teachings of the Catholic Church was when I got married. The first time we got married in this big St. Aloysius, looked like a canned ham. It was like it had all the spirituality of a canned ham. And my dad at the time was dying of cancer and didn't have time to go to confession. What are you going to confess? I mean, when I was a kid, I had to make stuff up because I didn't do enough, go once a week. And it's like, oh, I took the Lord's name in vain, whatever. And so I was sitting in the hospital with my dad the night before, and we're talking about him walking me down the aisle. And he said, did you ask the priest about communion? Yeah, no problem. So he came into communion. I didn't, because I was faded Catholic at that time. He took communion. And I thought, if I go to hell for that, fine. Save me a seat in the smoking section. It's all good. I would not deny him the opportunity in his church for him to take communion, considering he'd paid pew rent for so many years. Pew rent, that's what it is, That's what they call it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Eileen says she's a recovering Catholic. I think a third of the people I know are recovering Catholics. Of course, I know some recovering Jehovah's Witnesses and recovering Pentecostals and a few recovering Mormons.
I can do Jehovah's Witness because I don't do birthdays. I do everybody else's birthday. And on my birthday, a friend of mine taught me this really great ritual. I buy stuff for other people because I don't need anything. I'm at the point now where I can't get another coffee cup in my cabinet. I have everything I need and too much. And the stuff in the basement makes babies, I swear.
Eileen says she only goes to a Catholic church for funerals or weddings, and she gave up Catholicism for Lent.
There you go. I usually give up the F word for Lent because that's, for me, it's a verb, an adverb, noun, a pronoun.
I usually pick up the Catholic rant about the time Lent starts. I keep it rolling through Lent.
Good.
I guess that's my contribution.
Well, it's that whole passion, death, and resurrection thing that we so look forward to.
Right.
And Punchki Day. Don't forget Punchki Day.
This year for Lent, I had back medicine.
There you go.
Oh, very telling.
Yeah, Punchki Day, which we only have here in the Detroit area, but is circling the globe. A punchki, Eileen can tell you, is a donut that contains 1,500 calories. Now, the good thing about it is, if you eat yourself a punchki, maybe a cup of coffee, glass of milk, you'll be in a food coma until Easter anyway. So you probably won't want any more sugary treats. So there. Although in Weight Watchers, I still question this. In Weight Watchers, which they kicked me out of because I got pregnant back in the day, they said when your sugar tooth is activating, eat a sweet pickle. Now, I don't know about you. Sweet pickles, Hershey bar. Sweet pickles, hot fudge sundae. Sweet pickles, my triple fudge chocolate cake with dark chocolate filling and cream cheese icing. Sweet pickle. No.
I'm not sure who's watching us as me. Because I'm right here.
Well,
No, they're commenting as me. I thought it was Rory, but she just logged in and said howdy.
Howdy, Rory.
So maybe
Dorothea said,
JC.
numbers are going up.
I don't think I've given anybody else.
I wouldn't worry about it. They'll let you know. People have a way of letting you know. Dorothy says the number's going up. It started with 215 found in unmarked graves, a mass grave. Yeah, genocide. It's genocide. One of these days, I will find the author who wrote the compendium. It's a series of books on the residential schools, and have him share the stories that he walked through. It had to be a soul cruncher, you know? And
Yeah.
take away your language and cut off your hair and put you in white people clothes and deny you the sacred hoop, which is the most sacred teaching tool on the face of the earth. And then teach you, you're born guilty. I love that one the most. You're born dirty. You're born guilty. With any luck, you might be able to rent your way into heaven. No, thank you. No, not happening. What's going on? Chat room stuff.
I'm just trying to figure out who's live over here and who's not.
Well, you are 3 times. Donna, Dorothea, and my own self. Who do we need? Nobody.
We have a mixture of whispers, and I think we might have another mixture of whispers watching.
Twins. That's good.
I think Sweetie is watching. She might have passed out.
If you're going to be a mom of a toddler, it's good to have the energy of twins.
Right?
It's a lot like herding cats. And when that toddler happens to be my precious beans, whom, as I said, they had for me, that's my beans. You take care of my beans, darn it. The potential is limitless. Walking, climbing, getting into. Ha ha. What fun.
Well, I was telling their grandmother today that they were unlocking the front door at 15 months.
Nice.
Okay, they weren't tall enough to reach the deadbolt, but they were unlocking it. They learned the use of tools that early.
Sweet.
They would pick up a stick or the broom and go and unlock the door, and then go and open the door and go right out the door.
That's what we short people do. We get sticks and knock stuff down, pull it off the shelf. Forever, I have been caught climbing the shelves at Lowe's because they don't let you use the ladder. And what you want's always in the back of the top shelf. So you
Maybe it sings.
Shinny up like a spider monkey. Well,
they carried a chair across the room the other day.
Huh?
So they could get up to a shelf.
Well, there you go. Inventive. Teach that kid to cook.
They've been watching Oma and Mada cook and help. Good. They love breaking eggs.
Well, I was thinking more like fry bread. I'm ready for fry bread. My fry bread is your cornbread. And I know my cornbread moved you to tears. So that's how I feel about fry bread.
Sweetie surprised me. She actually makes fry bread. She was not going to tell me.
Aw. It's like my chocolate cake. That was an out-of-body experience. I just, all of a sudden, it was like, I've been living on chicken and broccoli for so long. What's the worst thing I could do to my diet? Wait, let me see. Oh, yeah. Triple chocolate fudge cake.
See, I said I'm listening.
I see that. Well, thanks for listening. You know what? That's more than the other guy did. He was walking off when we were still on the air. You know, the amazing thing we talk about not settling. People are settling for him and his piss poor attitude. I mean, when he called me a stupid C-word bitch, I was okay with the C-word bitch part. Don't call me stupid. I done matriculated. I got me some degrees, idiot child.
Right.
Dorothea says she's listening too. Well, now there's 4 of us, maybe 5.
Ashley says we have 7 listening.
Well, and the good news is so many wonderful people, thank you, listeners, I knew what you meant, honey, are turning people onto our podcasts. And we are getting, as of week one, we got 50% more hits than we did in 13 years elsewhere. That tells you something, doesn't it?
Oh, we have gotten so many hits. and I know that Spotify isn't paying us a lot yet, but
Hmm.
they're paying us.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, when it builds up, it's gonna build, and it's gonna build up because it already has been.
Sure.
Uh, it's I don't know. I don't understand the lackadaisical approach that was there before, other than to say that the guy just had issues that he didn't want to face and deal with.
Well, and it came from the point that they both thought they were going to make money, and they didn't realize that Dave. Oh, here's another Richard Merck story. After I mentioned clear my sinuses, I'd like to take a moment of your time to tell you about our sacred family, who are the heart song of the Native American Rights Fund. These brilliant people belong to all the nations, and they've joined together to affirm and defend the rights of Indigenous people everywhere. This is a noble journey. Since the 1970s, they have had priorities such as preserving tribal existence, protecting tribal natural resources. They're all of ours, don't you know? To promote Native American human rights, to hold governments accountable for Native Americans, and to develop laws for Indigenous people and educate them about the rights, laws, and issues of Native Americans. If you agree with me, it's rather insulting that these amazing people have to fight this battle. This is an organization whom you need to support. Please go to their website, www.narf.org, and see what you can do. The first American should never be considered last. It's time for the U.S. government to hold up the treaties they signed well over a century ago. Please go to narf.org, get educated as to what you can do to help. Miigwech. NARF. You know, if they were some kind of slick, crass commercial endeavor, they wouldn't be called NARF. NARF doesn't roll trippingly off the tongue. NARF sounds like a hair lip dog. NARF. They're real, genuine human beings. And this is what we need more of in these ever changing, wonderful days. Jupiter's in Pisces right now. Everyone's looking for a spiritual base. That's part of what killed that dirty pipeline. And we'll kill some more. Amen. Hallelujah. It's a good thing. I used to say you can't be too Pisces. Well, you can if you're the drug addicted kind of Pisces. Yeah. But if you're the kind of Pisces who's in tune with your angels, your guides, and your guardians, that is the way to live. That's my daughter. She's a Pisces rising, a Libra with a Pisces rising. Trust your psychic gizzard. It never lies. Never. Not once. Not ever. Never. Never, ever, ever. So, yes, we have a compendium of really exciting aspects. We made it through the last eclipse. Yay. That was a good thing, don't you think? We will make it through retrograde Mercury.
Gatorade,
Pardon?
Gatorade.
Yeah, retrograde Gatorade. Retrograde Pluto, retrograde Saturn. Those are long term. Saturn's there till October 10th. So we will simply.
I'm loving the Saturn thing personally.
Yeah, well, you're a Saturn baby. I'm a Saturn baby. Linda's a Saturn baby. Heather's a Saturn baby. I'll bet you Moon's a Saturn baby. Saturn simply says, use your talents wisely. Don't piss away your time. Don't take a job that's beneath you. Don't take a job just to have a job, because that's walk around dead. Pursue the gifts and the abilities that you were given by your God. To be responsible is not to be weighed down by the weight of the world. To be responsible is to honorably respond to the abilities your God gave you. How rough is that? That's why you and I were born to be self-employed. I'm at the point I'm not fit to work for anybody else. I'm just not. My schedule changes every single day. Very
I
few
was
people
literally
understand
at the point where I was getting sent home every third day.
that.
Look,
Well, you hung in there for 3 days.
I worked for Amazon for a season plus 3 months because I got extended. In that season plus 3 months, they sent me home because of my PTSD 96 times.
Baby. Baby. And to think maybe 10 years ago, people didn't even know what PTSD was.
Well, you know, it was that season, and I don't celebrate that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't in a long time. And on I was working as a bookbinder. On the bookbinder floor, they played nothing but straight up that kind of music
Yeah.
for 12-hour shifts straight.
Oh, kill me.
Oh, no.
Mm-mm,
It
mm-mm.
was reducing me to
Babble.
rages and sobbing fits. And
Yeah.
it's like, you not just understand, you're killing me with your selection of music.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather listen to dear old Frankie Boy
Mm.
than that. If I'm going to listen to crooning, I'd rather listen to somebody that could actually croon.
Michael Bublé. I have a friend, client, John Como, who's been with me since Dirt was young, and he has the same birthday as Frank Sinatra. And when I was busy losing my house in the last divorce, I found, oh, it was like Life magazine or Newsweek or Time, and it was all about Frank Sinatra. And I picked it up and I said, oh, this belongs. I don't remember buying it, but this belongs to John. And I shipped it off, and he said, that is the best thing. He framed it. He framed it and hung it on the wall. That was a gracious time, you know. Gentlemen wore ties, ladies dressed for dinner. We should do that, just for the heck of it.
Um, Back during the height of the bug, I was so frustrated with everything that I just started declaring, we're going to go upstairs and dress for dinner.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it didn't matter if I didn't do anything but change out of whatever I was wearing into lounge pants and a different shirt. I still was dressing for dinner in my mind.
Exactly.
And it placated something, you get dressed for dinner because you're going somewhere for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And even though we weren't going somewhere for dinner, I was making enough of a production out of dinner there for a minute because I was trying to entertain everybody. Everybody
Sure.
was at each other's throats.
And yourself as well, you know.
Yeah. I'm not innocent.
For sure.
uh,
Ain't none of us innocent except the houseplants, okay?
there were
None of us.
there were days during the height of the pandemic where I needed to be out in the wilderness, and they were telling me I couldn't. So anything I interacted with was F you.
If you could just teach me how to spell that out on the top of my cappuccino in the morning, that would be cheery, you know. I was raised by a woman who, oh my, she was an Aquarian with an Aries moon, and she's angry all the time. She could never get angry enough not to be angry.
She
Hence,
cussed in Yiddish and Italian.
you name it. And I can curse in 7 languages. And she beat me resoundingly because I've always had this mouth. You know, it's like she'd say something, I'd say something else, smack. But every morning I would get up, perky, because we Gemini types are perky, bounce into the kitchen where she's sitting there, chain smoking Pall Malls and drinking her black coffee. And I'd say, good morning. And she'd say, what the bleep's the goddamn good about it? And I say, well, Mom, you got me.
Hmm.
That never worked once.
Whack.
I don't understand that. I really, truly don't.
Whack.
So a lot of, yeah, grab that dictionary. A lot of what's going on right now is the fact that control freaks are truly melting down. They want life to unfold the way it's unfolding. Is not in their lexicon. They want it to happen the way they want to. So here, the wisdom of this weekend, it's a lesson of surrender. Through surrender, we come to recognize a force greater than ourselves, a limitless power that's available to us, a power that heals. Surrender is the highest form of conscious contact with the divine. Almost all the world's great religions and spiritual paths practice some form of surrender. Drawing this lesson is an invitation to turn your will and your life over to God. Not so long ago, surrender meant defeat and brought with it shame and dishonor. On the shamanic journey, surrender means relinquishing control, for in doing so, we acknowledge our readiness to heal. Receiving this lesson, you're asked to let go of your need to control the present situation or release any past experience that continues to trouble you. For some, this lesson encourages you to surrender to the feelings of being alone or abandoned by embracing your fears and moving through them hand in hand with God herself. If you're facing an illness, a crisis, or the moment has finally come to stop fighting with yourself, be grateful and practice surrender. And if you do nothing else, let go and let God. For many of us, this oft repeated phrase has already provided safe passage to a new way of life. If you're seeing these words for the first time, let them mark a new beginning for your healing. The truest power of surrender changes our lives from the inside out. Since these lessons have come to you, it's time to pray and affirm. I surrender my will to the greater will, the will of the divine creator spirit. I will, thy will. Amen.
Today too. Uh,
You're so good.
well, I'm a realist, and I plan for things the way I was taught to plan for things in the Marine
I prefer to call you a spiritual pragmatist.
Corps. Well, I know Murphy firsthand.
Yeah, yeah. I divorced him twice.
Um, and being on a first name basis with Murphy, um, I learned while I was in the Marine Corps that if I don't plan for Murphy to intervene, then I'm begging Murphy to intervene.
That's your Virgo. Plan B, Plan C, Plan D.
Yeah. So what happens if everybody's not ready to leave at the time you're ready to leave?
Oh, well.
I'm not going to let it blow me out of the water. I'm
Nope.
going to adjust, adapt, overcome, and move forward.
Although I will say the bus is leaving in 15 minutes. Beep.
Right. Once I get everything packed and have my coffee in hand, I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know it, but I'm probably going to pack all of the everything that needs to be packed here in just a little bit.
Yep.
Because then, when everybody else shows up to join the party in the morning, I can say, "Okay, we're ready. Let's go."
Exactly. Let's not forget that every Wednesday night from 9:45 till 10 o'clock, you can join in the Mesa Link Up created by my friend, Lindsay Sheedy Lintz, and of course, supported by Mother Peace Drum. Now, in that time frame, 9:45 to 10 o'clock, you can hook up with healers, shaman, medicine men and women from all around the world in a prayer of peace and love and light and harmony and balance. If you know somebody who needs healing, if you need healing, it's time to hop into that beautiful beacon of light. Now, because I'm a drummer, I'll be drumming from 9:30 till 10:30. So you can just zone in, zone out, join us. It's free. It ought to be, don't you think? So remember, every Wednesday night, 9:45 till 10 o'clock, the Mesa Link Up. Please join us.
So Grandmother Dot had to throw some shade.
Mm.
Yeah, she said, unless you misplaced the car keys in the knapsack, we were getting ready to leave Canada the first time to come back home, and we couldn't find the car keys anywhere.
Oh my God.
We still had two sets of car keys at the time, and we had both sets with us. We could not find the car keys anywhere.
Okay. I was invited to lecture at the IHM in Atlanta, and I was put on the dais between Timothy Leary and Jacqueline Stallone. Timothy Leary was so high he was seeing trails. Jacqueline Stallone didn't show. $1,500 a day, and she didn't show. So all these people, how's Jackie? She's fine. She's busy. Whatever. My friend Cindy followed me down there with her girlfriend, and her girlfriend did a dirty deed. She pretended she wanted to go down there to be with Cindy and have a romantic weekend, the hot tub, whatever. She really went down to see her grandbaby. So she spent the weekend with the grandbaby. So I spent the weekend in between classes, lectures, and workshops watching Cindy cry into her grits. And by the way, she put sugar on her grits, at which point the waiter went, ha ha, Yankees. At the end of the trip,
Disgusting.
they were getting back in the rent-a-car. Sacrilege. They were getting back in the rent-a-car. And Cindy was angry, justifiably so, but taking it on everyone but the person who should get it. Aries Libra relationship. Ooh, talk about bad. And with the great flourish, she slammed the trunk of the car. The keys were in the trunk. Mr. Flight, Mr. Interconnecting Flight. I got in the Jeep and left. Hey, good luck with that. Call me when you get home.
Grandma Dot said that she helped find them. She felt where they were.
There you go. There's actually, oh, what is it called? I can't think of horary. There's a system called horary astrology with an H, not a W, horary, where if you lose something, you misplace something, you can run a chart for the minute you found it gone, and then walk back through the chart, and it will tell you where that item is at. I've used it a couple times.
I generally help people find things in a similar fashion. I tell them to go back to the last place they knew they had it.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
when I put together my bag of holding, it took on a life of its own.
Mm-hmm.
And you can literally, I mean, we've watched. I stuffed over 50 pounds of rocks in it one day, and it was like 5 pounds.
Wow.
But yeah, she's like, check your backpack. So I emptied everything out of the backpack. No, really, check your backpack. And emptied everything out again, turned it inside out, and right there they were.
Mm-hmm. Laughing at you. Mocking you is what they were doing, mocking you.
And
I quit locating kids and cats and things when I became a profiler because that third eye was open all the time, and I was finding dead babies in my dreams.
yeah,
And it was like, okay, this is going to make me real crazy. Okay, crazier. And I can't live like that. So I shut it down. It was like, there are better ways to do what I do. And, if you lost your earring, it's not that important. You don't need to pay me for a session because I don't care about you. I don't care if it's grandma's. Maybe she took it back.
oh, I've got 5 people from that we met from our travels across the world who still to this day reach out every time they've lost something,
Mm-hmm.
ask me to find it for them.
Mm.
So I'll sit down and meditate on it, and I'll walk them back to the last place they knew they had it, and usually it's right there.
Generally, it's in front of you. It's that purloined litter kind of thing. Or you do like the cat and that. You put an X every place it isn't, and you end up with where it is, which is good.
Say hello, sings with owls.
Hi, honey. How's my sister?
I was upstairs trying to find Zen.
Drum. I have a drum bass for you whenever you get back to town.
Awesome.
It was our first
We
mother
have a
piece.
way to transport it.
It's a little frame drum, and it was our first mother piece drum. I bought it at Powwow, and the hide is hit. And since you know how to get buffalo hides, you can cover it, and it'll be good
I
forever.
can tell you.
What?
I need the diameter for mother piece.
Uh,
And to replace the head on.
32 inches over the
30
top,
oh,
32 inches across the top, and it's just two-sided.
yeah. He's got hides that are perfect for drum.
Just need somebody who can put it together.
Stretch it, yeah.
Hint, hint.
That's not me. I'll
Wink and nudge. That's not me either. I
love watching them make drums, but
Mhm.
I would rather commission a drum and have the drum come to me open so that I can finish the ceremony
Absolutely.
than try to do it myself because while I'm not tone deaf, trying to find the tone of that drum is hard.
Well, and the thing with the powwow drums, as big as they are, they tune them wet. I do not know how in this world you can plink it when it's wet and it has no voice and make it have the right voice when it dries up. That's just mind-boggling.
No, an old medicine elder told me one time how they do it. They were trying to instill that knowledge into me. But it's they have a specified height they pull the drumstick to, and they just let it drop. And they have a specific measurement that they've all been taught by eye of how far it's supposed to bounce off the drum head.
Very good. With my nickel, the big buffalo drum, he presented as 2 giant buffalo hides. And because all my powwow drums are made by medicine men, I have to petition to get permission and tell them my pedigree and whatever. It's like auditioning for a job to buy a $3,000 drum, mind you. The powwow drum, the buffalo powwow drum, The man who built it was handed an obsidian knife, which is a stone, a sharpened stone,
Uh-huh.
and it took him 6 months to clean off the drum. So a friend of mine thinking, oh, this is easy. He's going to make a djembe. So he gets the goat hide, and then he runs to the drugstore, and he buys a gallon of Nair. Nair. Okay. And he's smearing, no rubber glove. He's smearing the Nair on the drum, and the fur's getting all matted and nasty. And eventually it ate holes in it. And it was like, well, I guess sometimes you have to go to a professional.
Yeah.
The straight razor is what you use.
Brine and a scraper.
Straight razor.
We use an obsidian scraper
Mhm.
to hide with. I mean, I have a moon blade that's really good for scraping hides, but I'm not an Inuit.
Mhm.
I'll never claim to be an Inuit, even though I've watched an Inuit hide out of moose or not
Mhm.
elk with
Mhm.
one of those moon blades. I watched a little video watching him do it. And I mean, he was zip, 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 zip with that moon shaped blade.
Well, yeah.
Came out with a perfect hide, but
Yeah. Nobody else
it
could do
was
it.
slow enough for me to even get the first idea of what he
Yeah.
did, let alone how he did it.
Many voices, the drum you took with you is either moose or elk. Because when I took it to Wounded Knee the first time, it wept. And you could see those tears inside the drum. You could see them today.
Well, gray buffalo as well.
There you go.
The first time I drummed with gray buffalo, I must have been trance drumming.
Mm,
She wept.
yeah.
She blessed me
Mm-hmm.
with her tone, and Sweetie fusses at me because where you drum daily with your physical drum, I retreat into my spiritual drum
Mm-hmm.
often than not, and gray buffalo needs some loving care.
All drums do. Don't use them as furniture. Don't hang them on the wall. They got around. I do my best to get to every drum once a week, but I've got 30 some drums sitting here. The artificials don't go flat, so they kind of get the shortest amount of attention. But, if it's humid, they go flat. If it's too hot, they get tinny. So they need a lot of attention. Sometimes some drum doctor just to soften up the hind a little bit.
Yeah,
But trance drumming is what I've always done.
Some bear grease.
Mm-hmm. Trance drumming is the way to go. And I will drum on the great room table, the coffee table, the kitchen counter, steering wheel. I've finally took Superman out of my CD player in the car after a year and a half and went straight to Santana. So now I'm drumming Santana on the steering wheel.
Of course.
Hope the neighbors love the music. If they don't, it's their loss. That's what I say. Nothing better. Crack the windows a little bit, open the sunroof, crank up the radio, turn on AC, take off.
Could be Steppenwolf.
Life is good. Well, it depends. If I'm in gridlock, I play Welcome to the Jungle because that just fits. I should mention it, that Dreams of Hope are available, and they're available on the cheap. For only $15, you can help provide nutritious meals to Lakota children at the St. Joseph's Indian School. Don't get me started on Indian. There's no such word. For $25, you can help provide bedding and linens. For $50, you can give them warm clothing. I'm wearing long johns today. Trust me. In the frozen wastes of the North, you never put your winter clothes that far away. For $90, you can help provide all three. Send them 10. Send them whatever you can. $10 is a bad cup of coffee at Starbucks. So be a sport and make an effort. You can contact them online. They're the St. Joseph's Indian School, or call them at 1-800-341-2235. Look at that. We got our spots in. We are doing good. We are doing fine. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So you've had company for 2 weeks. I'm at the point now where I'm in no hurry to have company. I've always loved living alone.
We're always ready for company to go home when company leaves.
Yeah, I mean, I love entertaining. Don't get me wrong. I got 4 sets of china and a whole basement full of catering stuff. So I can whip a feast together in no time. You've seen me do it. On the other hand, I like the idea that I clean the house, and other than for my messy cats, it stays clean. I can find things. It's nice to find things. I once did a benefit in a house in Jackson, Michigan called the Marshall Mansion. They had 23 rooms. And I asked the woman who owned the house, how do you find the Scotch tape? And she said, we buy more. There's no point.
Right.
I don't want to live like that.
Sings and I want a simple hobbit hole
Mhm.
out of a hill with a tree house over it.
Mhm.
And 2 towers and
Perfect.
and a suspended greenhouse.
Oh, we still have to put up my greenhouse. That's on the next step. First, I have to paint the garage because I really have to paint the rest of the garage, and then we can put the greenhouse up. Yep, projects. I have veggie plants everywhere. Thriving, thank you. Thriving is a good thing. So once again, you are listening to Answers to the Astral Baglady, which next week may even be introduced by the Right Reverend Spirit Walks Far himself. He's not prepared tonight, even though he's wearing TV blue. That is TV blue, you know. Although in TV, it's actually cornflower blue. In TV, you can't wear stripes. Ask me why. And it's not because they make you look fat.
Why?
They pixelate.
They pixelate.
Yeah, back in my TV days, I had many.
I hope this one isn't pixelating.
No, the stripes are too big. But back in my TV days, I had lots of pinstripe suits and pinstripe blouses. Or so I'd wear a plain suit, pinstripe blouse, pinstripe suit, and it God, she's pixelating again.
I never had TV days, but I had days where I was in front of a lot of people, and I had a nice Pierre Cardin double-breasted pinstripe suit that I wore.
Sweet.
And everything went well until I, being me, put the daggum thing on backwards.
They couldn't figure it out.
No, it wasn't quite large enough to fit me backwards.
Oh, I see.
So when I put the jacket on, you know, it did really well when I did this, but when
you did that, it didn't work so well. Yeah. I did a wedding once for a bridegroom who looked like a Kentucky colonel, and his tuxedo pants were a 42, and he had a Dunlop, you know, where your belly Dunlop over your pants, and the only thing holding his pants up. There you go. The only thing holding his pants up were the suspenders. I thought, well, this is. Don't cough, don't sneeze, don't bend over too fast.
Yeah.
Don't take your jacket off.
Yeah, don't take your jacket off. Mm-hmm. And the kids know you're wearing suspenders because you'll suddenly not be wearing your pants.
Yeah. That's like snapping a suspender. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember those from Catholic school. The plaid skirt with the suspenders and the white blouse and the knee socks and the blazer. Oh, God. I was in hell. Although the nuns were in a lot more hell than I was because I kept asking these questions they couldn't answer.
I would have almost rather worn the plaid kilt.
Nothing nicer than a man who knows that a kilt is a uniform. Because it is. We have the Essex and Kent.
The knickers, the knee pants.
Mm-hmm.
I never agreed with those.
It's not pretty. Well, we are almost out of time, so I should tell you, likely, folks, you beautiful people listening to the podcast, listening live, you can find me at the astralbaglady.net, and you can find Spirit at, up in there,
www.foroflikekind.com or www.spiritwalksfarcreation.
All right. So I've rewritten our tag for the end because I thought it gave people wiggle room, and I hate doing that. I say hate seldom. So here it is. When you talk of peace. When you think of peace. When you pray about peace. Together, we will make it happen. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you so much, Spirit and Swampy and everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Next week.
You betcha.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Thank you, Maria. Blessings to us both. I feel blessed. Okay, darling. Well, it worked.
Yeah.
Guess I'll go thank the modem, huh?
Yeah.
Rat bastard thing that it is.
Blessings, everyone.
You have fun in the mountains. Bye, honey.
Bye bye.